Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the invitation to deliver a comment on this session. As the summit's title suggests, our task is one of a delicate balancing act to identify and design, on one hand, a coherent growth strategy for Cyprus or for Europe, which, on the other hand, places its citizens at the heart of the action. A growth strategy that identifies the environmental, socioeconomic, and geopolitical contexts faced by Cyprus and Europe today, and at the same time embraces the technological innovation that has a profound impact on society. So today I would like to talk to you very briefly about the EU strategy for equitable and inclusive growth. And first, I think we need to provide some basic definitions of what we mean. So equitable growth, in our understanding, is one whose generated benefits are distributed and shared equally and fairly across society. And inclusive growth is one whose benefits are felt by as many citizens as possible, where no one is left behind, as the Commissioner said in her message. So in essence, this means spreading the net of growth and its impact as wide and as equally as possible across our society. The need for such a growth strategy indicates two things. First, that growth pursued without accompanying measures that address its social implications can have a disproportionate impact on parts of the society and regions of the EU, and can lead to exclusion and inequality, both between member states and between regions of the continent. And secondly, that the growth strategy can only be sustainable if it addresses existing or newly created levels of inequality and exclusion. So this is the main message of my comment today. Growth that neglects to address inequality and exclusion is one built on weak foundations that creates more challenges for the future. To achieve equality, fairness, and inclusion, our growth strategy must instigate and help manage change in a way that empowers member states and citizens to be prepared for crises like the ones that we have experienced in recent years, to be prepared and resilient to deal with external shocks in the economy, and to enhance cohesion among its citizens and among regions. In March 2022, the EU presented its European growth model. It signaled the EU's commitment to this citizen-centric growth strategy that leaves no one behind and is up to the task of steering Europe towards the future. And I would like to give a couple of examples before closing about what all this means for Cyprus. So through cohesion policy and Next Generation EU, green and digital transitions have been at the heart of the EU support for investment and reform on the island. On green transition, the push for upgrading the island's electricity grid, which will be actually also discussed in the next panel, increasing energy from renewables, as well as making buildings more energy efficient, are aimed at reducing also the energy bills of the consumers and making Cyprus more energy independent. So we see these two aspects of a growth strategy or a competitiveness strategy, which also takes into account the citizens and society in general. Of course, the green transition is also about changing mentalities and fostering more environmentally conscious citizens. We have a long way to go in changing, for example, the habits of Cypriots in terms of public transportation or in terms of circular economy, waste, recycling, etc. And on the other hand, on digitalization, again, we know this is creating a wealth of opportunities for citizens and businesses in Cyprus, in Greece, and in other countries. The Minister also mentioned examples regarding Greece. The services sector in Cyprus is very big, is well established, but we believe that with the digitalization of various services, and President Christodoulidis mentioned this morning as a key example also the setting up and digitalization of the national health system, ESC, we believe that we can enter a new era, not only in public health, but also in many other domains and policies. So I will not take more time to leave some time for the discussion and the questions. In conclusion, the message is growth is how we create a better future for our citizens. Building towards our targets of climate neutrality, modernization, interconnectivity, we can improve the quality of life of citizens. But an equitable and inclusive growth is how we ensure that this process is built on solid foundations for current and future generations. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to the discussion.